proving parallelograms in a coordinate plane. Sounds like fun. Okay, so now we're doing with proofs. So prove both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. So if AB is congruent to DC, and AD is congruent to BC. Remember, congruent means same size, same length, all of that stuff. Then ABCD, the whole thing, is a parallelogram. So to prove that, we would use the distance formula. Next one. Prove both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So AD parallel to BC and AB parallel to DC. Then it's a parallelogram. So to prove parallel, we would use slope formula. Prove one pair of opposite sides are congruent and parallel. Okay, so let's just choose AB. AB parallel to DC and AB congruent to DC. So we're going to use two there. We would use the distance and slope formulas. Alright, so let's do our first example down here. First thing, plot these points. Draw a pair of axes so you kind of know what you're dealing with. Do a prettier job than I. Alright, so -7, 4, so left 7. Up 4. It's point A. 1, 2. It's B. 9, -8. There's 9. One -6. Draw the lines. Okay, determine whether the figure is a parallelogram using the distance formula. So I want to prove sides are congruent in length. So let's prove that AB is congruent to BC. So AB, where's BC? Where's C? Is this C? This is C. This is D. Well, first let's find AB, then we're going to find DC. So we'll first find the length of AB. So the distance formula, if you forgot it, I'm going to write it down here at the bottom. I recommend writing it down somewhere. D equals square root x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared. Finding AB, negative 7 minus 1, I will get negative 8 squared plus 4 minus 2 is 2 squared. 8 squared is 64. 2 squared is 4. I get the square root of 68. Next point, I'm going BC. Find the length of BC. These two. 1 minus 9 is negative 8. Negative 8 squared. 2 minus negative 8. That would be a positive 10. Squared. 64. 8 squared is 64. 10 squared is 100. I would make this the square root of 164. Now, I don't need to simplify this. I don't need to make it into decimals. All I need to do is see that it's congruent to another side. So I found AB. Now I need to find DC. Or CD, same difference. 9 minus 1 is 8. So I get 8 squared. Plus negative 8 minus negative 6, which is negative 2 squared. 64 squared, or not, this is 64. 8 squared is 64. Negative 2 squared is 4. 64 plus 4 is 68. So AB is square root of 68. CD, no line on the top, is square root of 68. I found BC. Now I want to find, if I found BC, I want to find AD. So to find AD, negative 7 minus 1, negative 8 squared. 4 minus negative 6 would be negative 10 squared. 64, 100, square root over 164. So we proved these two are congruent. These two are congruent. So yes, it's a parallelogram. Okay, so this is the same, proving using the distance formula. Okay, tell whether the figure is a parallelogram using the slope. So I'm gonna make the next set of videos going over determining whether these have the same slope or not. So click on the video below.